Hello Insiders, my name is Thomas. I'm a strategic partner manager here at YouTube, and today we're in the YouTube space in Los Angeles, and I'm joined by Jason and Ryan, and they're coming from Jubilee Media to talk a little bit about their journey as YouTube creators. So for those of you who don't know Jubilee, do you guys mind talking about your content?
Sure. So Jubilee Media, we are a YouTube channel who primarily we create content that is human-centric, that bridges people together, that challenges conventional thinking, and inspires love. We're pretty well known now for series like Middle Ground, T for Two, Both Sides, and really it's doubling down on this idea of radical empathy.
Can you talk a little bit more about what radical empathy is? What is that motto that your channel kind of lives by?
I feel like now more than ever we feel like the world is very divided. You know, red and blue and just all these different things, and more than ever we want to model what it looks like to have compassion and empathy for others and have discussions where you don't see them. So for example, one of our episodes for Middle Ground, we did cops and felons. Like, what is the fact that we are a lot more similar than different?
Let's start at the beginning. What was the inspiration for the YouTube channel?
The channel really started because my 22nd birthday was the same day as the Haiti earthquake. And it was one of those things where I had just graduated from college, so I didn't have that much money, but I had this kind of crazy idea to go to a New York subway stop to sing and busk to raise $100 for Haiti. And we raised about $80, and then I made a video, I put it on YouTube and sent it to all my friends. And within a week we had like thousands of views and we raised a ton of money for Haiti. And that was really the genesis of Jubilee. And then we launched Jubilee Media last year with this belief that we can now do this at a much larger scale and that we can be a startup media company that is known for positive content for young people.
Touching on audience engagement, one of the kind of key parts of strategy generally on YouTube, what are you doing both on YouTube and off the platform to get people to come back and keep watching?
As soon as we release a video, we are engaging with our audience. So I think we just want to set that precedence right away. Asking for feedback is very, very big in our outros. We're always asking questions. Outside of YouTube, we've got Instagram, Facebook, building these communities where it's learning more about who our audience is so they feel even more connected with us. And that's definitely really big.
And as you're growing and from a business perspective, what are you doing to sustain that?
So we're venture funded. So we've got financial backing to help us sustain the company. But as far as going into the future and actually making money, a lot of that focuses on brand sponsorship. Starting to explore other larger brand sponsors as well, where we would create series that would incorporate their product naturally into our storytelling.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you are venture funded right now, but I guess taking a step back in the beginning, what was that process like for you to find funding? Did you do any crowdsourcing for funds? And what did that look like in the beginning of the project?
Yeah, early on we did all sorts of stuff. For a long time with Jubilee, at least in the initial stages, like no one was paid. So it was all like, we're gonna live on ramen and make videos. And over time we did a couple of Kickstarters that helped with specific projects. What we found was like when we did fundraising projects for specific videos, that was really successful versus like for the channel. And then slowly we started getting asked to do what we would call like a white label production content. So like people would say, hey, you guys do awesome stuff. Can you make a video for me on X, Y, or Z? Or can you make a commercial for us? Or can you do like a wedding video? And usually we'll say like no to the wedding video, but we'll say yes to a lot of these other things. But then, anything that just brings in some revenue to make it work. And then now, fortunately, we've gotten to the stage where we don't really have to do as many of those projects, and we're looking for ways to grow from our actual content or with a relationship with our viewers. For example, now we're talking a lot about like merchandise or events or even like membership, right?
Do you guys also do a lot of collaborations with YouTubers?
Yeah, if you're interested in collaborating with us, please let us know.
So down, very down, yeah.
No, we've been really lucky, I think. I think that people who have just been fans of our content, first of all, will be like, hey, I would love to be part of Middle Ground, or I would love to be on a date for T for Two. So they'll kind of hit us up. We also have like a lot of good relationships with other just creators who we just are fans of and just have always wanted to find opportunities to do it. If people are interested, they can email us at hello@jubileemedia.com.
From a business kind of perspective, what are the next 5-10 years looking like for you guys as you continue to grow? I remember giving you your million plaque just back in May. Since then, you guys are really rapidly growing.
That's a good question. I guess on the growth side, yeah, we hit 1 million subscribers in May. Our like ambitious goal is we want to hit 2 million by the end of the year. So hopefully by the end of 2018.
I think for us, YouTube is really important piece of that puzzle. So as we grow on YouTube and our main channel grows, I think what we want to start to explore is what are other verticals we want to be in, you know, outside of specific general entertainment. Is there a niche type of content that we can be in and dominate, you know, in those verticals as well. And outside of digital, I think we're thinking bigger picture as well. Podcasts that we should be launching, longer form content like documentary that might live on, you know, the Netflixes of the world. So we really want to first get digital media really right and prove ourselves there, and then focus on, even within digital, like where else can we be, and then outside of digital as well, just broader, longer form storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah, you can probably tell that like our thesis is that there is just a huge space for positive content for young people. And while we think we're great storytellers on YouTube and this is a great platform for us, we want this brand to exist like kind of in every major platform.
What about in the short term? What are things that maybe you can hint at?
We're going to be bringing back a lot of our favorite series. For example, Both Sides is something that's been like heavily requested, and we're going to be coming out with another season of that we've just shot with a bunch of our favorite kind of creators, actually, a bunch of YouTubers. We've got another series of Middle Ground that's coming as well, and one really, really special episode that we did with YouTube Created for Change. And we feel really lucky to be a part of that program. The other thing we're constantly doing, and what we've learned, is we have to continue to revisit the things that people love our channel for, but also make sure that we're constantly innovating and experimenting.
Right.
And that's something that, you know, can be scary as we're growing. We're like, wait, what if we make a mistake here? And I think that the spirit of YouTube is one that of experimentation, of just like going for it and seeing what happens. So that's something that we always talk about with our team, is how do we both double down on what is working, but also remember that we're talented, creative innovators, and find new things that will be the next generation or next iteration of T for Two and Middle Ground and Seeking Secrets and Both Sides.
And another thing I wanted to ask you guys about, I know you've been doing the self-certification pilot to say whether or not and give us feedback if your video is ads or brand safe. Can you talk about what it's been like to do that pilot, the good and bad, just covering everything?
Yeah, I think it's helpful because nobody knows the content you put out more than yourself. So the fact that YouTube is like, hey, we want to try this out where we trust you and we're going to give you'll be the judge of whether this is safe content, is really great. And it's pretty seamless. It takes like 30 seconds to a minute. We've had only one instance really where we've had we thought it was safe. We rated it the way we wanted to, and then YouTube came back and said, okay, actually maybe it's not as safe, but it was actually understandable. So so far so good. It's been helpful.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then shifting to kind of the challenges of the platform, as you're growing so fast and scaling your business, what are the biggest pain points for YouTubers in terms of hiring? You probably have a lot of ideas that maybe you can't execute all at once. What does that look like for you guys?
A lot of pain points. I think hiring is a big one for us. We're constantly looking for like quality storytellers. But one thing that we realize is it's not enough just to be a great storyteller and really, really talented, but fitting into the ethos and the culture of what we believe as Jubilee is equally, if not more important. Because we're so small, and I'm sure everyone who is our size recognizes, but every single person that adds to the company is like very much affects the entire dynamic.
The scaling side, like we were just talking about this over lunch, is you always want to like keep growing, right? And you want to sustain that growth. So a lot of times, you know, as you're growing and it's like high paced growth, if it starts to dip a little, you're like getting a little nervous. So I think for us also, it's just strategically, what do we do to, first of all, what are realistic expectations? Like what does data tell us? And also, how can we lean into the creative process more to help us grow even more? And that's, for us, it's like hiring more quality creatives, maybe output increases slightly, not too much so we don't break things. Making those like trade-offs and understanding what impact that'll have to growth. That's kind of...
Definitely. And then for the smaller creators that are just starting out, Obviously, you were there at one point. What recommendations do you have for them?
The thing I would say is just create constantly, like make as much content as you can. I think that a lot of times as a creative, you kind of feel like, man, this has to be perfect, like everyone's gonna see this, and if it's not perfect, it won't do well. But the truth is, like, some of our most imperfect projects or our most imperfect videos are the ones that have done the best. And some of the ones that we've spent the most time, the most money on have failed completely. And it's all just about learning, right? This is like an amazing platform that you can just learn constantly and hear back from your audience about what worked and what didn't. And then be analytical, right? Like start to look back and say, like, why did this work and why did this not? What is a way for me to double down on the things that have worked? I think it's just about like not being afraid.
And as you're growing, Ryan, as the head of growth at Jubilee, what numbers are you looking at?
The two main metrics we look at a super like high level is just like subscriber growth and viewership, but then we break it down also into like engagement as well. So what we really care about is trying to understand what the audience wants to see, and are we hitting the mark with the content we're putting out. So that's the gist of all of our analytical efforts. So we'll look at, like, even from a series, we'll break it out and see what series is driving like our subscriber growth, or what series are not driving very many people to subscribe to us. So we look at those kind of things. We also look at very simple stats of like to dislike ratio, what are people saying in the comments, what do they want to see. But then recent rollout, a data point that's super important to me is the click-through rate. So we'll look at on a video-to-video basis. If we make a really great video, but no one actually clicks on it to watch it because they didn't find, you know, the thumbnail or the title appealing, that's a problem. So we're monitoring all of our videos and seeing, okay, which video just did not get like the justice that we feel like it deserves, and a lot of times it's because the packaging wasn't compelling enough. So we'll revisit that.
Thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it.
Definitely. Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us and being a great ally for us. We love YouTube and all the different groups that we've got to partner with.
Yeah.
So
having you has been really helpful too. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment here and on our channel. We'll see you guys next time.